This video is sponsored by the Book of Spirits, where you get to fight or befriend ethereal creatures in a realm where emotions and memories invoke magic. More on that later. Bless and Bane. I already made this video like 3 years ago, but I hate it. It's the worst video I've ever made. But I've finally come around to redo the video, and this time we're gonna do it properly. Welcome to Pack Tactics. These two spells are almost polar opposites. Both target 3 targets at level 1, and get to target 1 additional creature per spell level. Bless allows the target to add 1d4 to their attack rolls and saving throws. Bane instead makes them subtract it. However, this effect only happens if they fail a charisma saving throw. Both last a minute, require concentration, have a range of 30 feet, and takes an action to cast. Bless is of course cast on your friends, whereas Bane is used on your enemies. You know this. Let's start with Bless first. Bless is especially effective to cast on people that do a lot of damage on a hit. Like for example, sharpshooter users or great weapon master users. For them, an accuracy boost is way stronger than someone that uses like, I don't know, a sickle. In general, we calculate the accuracy boost as follows. Bless adds 1d4, which has an average of 2.5. For every +1 increase on a d20 roll, we add a 5% chance to roll at least our target. So if we multiply 2.5 by 0.05, we get 0.125. So that means we add 12.5 percentage points to our hit chance. There's a bit more of a formula proof in the article from Tabletop Builds. I think it's definitely worth a read, especially if you're a math head. But this is probably too much math for today, as Gator has fallen asleep again. Me. The article also talks about a few more edge cases and stuff. Like, for example, how much the 1d4 adds on advantage and disadvantage. And that makes things way more complicated. In general, the 12.5% is a good enough approximation for this video. But check out the article if you fancy some cool math. So now the question is, how powerful can Bless truly be? Well, let's look at a subclassless ranger that's not using its resources. So basically, we're only looking at archery and crossbow experts. Then eventually it gets sharpshooter and extra attack. Here's the math, and this comes from Moonsilver from like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago? Who knows? It's ancient. You might want to pause this video and just look it over. But anyways, if you guys are interested, I've got a few videos on DPR. But the power attack one, where I talk about sharpshooter, might be the most fitting for you. Anyways, all the math is doing here is multiplying 2 things by the number of attacks. Raw damage on a hit multiplied by the chance to hit. And damage on a crit by chance to crit. If we want to calculate the expected value from Bless in terms of damage, we do the following. We multiply the raw damage on a hit multiplied by the number of attacks with the 12.5% from before. At level 1, we get 1.62. Now let's make a party. We've got 3 rangers and Gator's casting Bless on the 3 rangers. Oh, jeez! Bless you! Now we multiply the single target damage by 3 for the number of targets. We get 4.87 DPR. This is actually an insane number because that's like nearly 80% of the Warlock baseline DPR at level 1 by just casting Bless and sitting back and doing nothing. I can dodge after Bless! Yeah, that's true. Like, on the second round, you could be dodging or throwing cantrips. Anyways, the number changes a bit over time, but if you have a very damage optimized party, like for example, they have power attacks, then you could beat the baseline damage by just casting Bless and dodging. My friend Moonsilver, who I talked about before, had one of those parties. And if you have a party like that, I would say Bless is as strong as 3rd level spells. Although, don't cast it as a 3rd level spell. I don't recommend you do that, but I'm just saying it's as strong as 3rd level spells if you have parties like that. As for the rangers, you are literally increasing their damage by about 25%. That's massive. 3 targets buff. Now let's talk about the saving throw part. Of course, the effect is very similar, and it isn't even an either or situation. You get the damage increase and the higher success chance from saving throws. This is a wild spell for first level, and you can combine this with Peace Cleric's Emboldening Bonds to make it even stronger. I also made a video about Peace Clerics, I'll link that below. Bless is one of those spells that stays good throughout your entire progression. The reason why is because the output of your friends increases as they progress, which means the output of Bless does too. Incredible spell. 10 out of 10. Hallelujah. You know what's also 10 out of 10? The Book of Spirits, heavily inspired by Dragon Age and Stormlight Archive. This book brings your 5e game to a whole new realm of magic. Fight or befriend ethereal creatures in a realm where emotions and memories invoke magic. There's over 200 pages full of content here. There's over 50 new monsters to slay, over 7 new subclasses and species to play, 3 new adventures involving the spirit realm, over 30 new boons and banes, and much more. This book has a ton of new mechanics like Conduit. This is a new class that lets you fuse with spirits to empower yourself and unleash mystical power. Stand in the front lines, support your allies with your attuned spirits buffs, and punish foes that dare attack you with your Spirit Lash. This is a half-caster that gets Spirit Guardians and Wall of Force. On top of that, it gets really fun features. If I played in a Book of Spirits game, I would play this. Kobold! Vibe system! Vibe system! Gator, I told you last time, it's not called that. It's called the Resonance System. Roleplay your character's emotions to strengthen or weaken nearby spirits. This system lends itself to cathartic moments where heroes defeat adversaries by overcoming their own mental barriers and find hidden strength within themselves. It can be optimized in combat. Gator, I don't think reeing is going to trigger the resonance system. But anyways, the Book of Spirits is live on Kickstarter. Step beyond the veil with infectious glee with your friends. I highly recommend it. There's only a week left, so you better hurry if you're interested. Anyways, back to the video. But Kobold! What about Bane? Bane is an interesting one. It only works sometimes. If we assume a 60% chance for the targets to fail their saving throw, we can assume only 1.8 targets are affected on average. Instead of adding 1d4 to 3 targets, we reduce 1d4 to 1.8 targets on average. This is less creatures, and that obviously makes it worse. But then again, we are affecting creatures that deal more damage. At least, probably. Comparing damage increases and damage reduction, we are probably getting a not so different number. Nevertheless, I prefer Bless because we deal more damage, creatures die faster, which also means more damage reduction. This is something I'll talk about more in the future. It's about why damage is better the earlier you deal it. Basically, damage now is better than damage later. Ooh! That's been in the works for a long time. I used to talk about damage now is better than damage later quite a lot back in the day. I don't know why I've never made a video about it. I really should. That's surprisingly not a very popular thought, even though it should be. Kobold, we should get back to the video. What about the saving throw reduction? Well, generally, you shouldn't really be casting spells that require a saving throw to be failed to not suck. Something like a fireball barely cares about the failure chance because it deals half damage on a success. And AoE spells with half damage on a success are actually utterly insane. I made a video about that, linked down below. It's one of my favorite videos. It will dramatically change how you look at builds, and especially the game. I'm not joking. If you want to cast something like Disintegrate, please don't. I don't recommend it. Especially if there's like a 2-round setup, you know, you cast Bane first, and then the second round you cast Disintegrate. There's way better things to do. But hey, it's your character, so do whatever you want. I just don't recommend it. Now, I have to say, I do actually think Bane is quite good for its level, but the unfortunate thing is Bless exists. And that's also a first level spell. And that's what makes Bane bad. The thing with Bless is it works 100% of the time. It's very consistent. But the good news for Bane is it's definitely worth preparing in downtime scenarios if your party wants to planar bind something or someone. But that's not really the same as casting it in combat. In combat, there are way better options for you to choose. If you want to know more about planar binding, link in the description. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to say about these spells. It's time to play bagpipes now. One more thing, and I almost forgot. There's only a week left of the Book of Spirits on Kickstarter, so tick tock, time's running out. You better hurry. End of video. I hope I earned your subscription and maybe your support on Patreon, like and all that stuff. I gotta practice. I'm playing a gig soon. Bye-bye.